Good day, traders. Adrian Jones here, CEO at Tradeology. Thanks for joining me. And today I'm going to have a look at the market ahead for the week. This is the second week in November 2022. And just to get going, just before we get started with that, I just want to show you a calendar. There are many free calendars available. We've got some very good ones also with a lot of our Tradeology members areas, but I'm going to give you this as an example. And what I've done is I have pre-selected, or you can also filter out the high impact and medium impact news releases for the week ahead. It's very important as we get started in the week to know what is up and coming. Although we here at Tradeology are technical analysts, we do have a look at the news. The fundamentals do impact the markets occasionally, especially the high impact news releases. We just saw recently the non-farm payrolls coming out on Friday. They didn't come out quite as expected. Anyway, that news is over. And as we look into the week ahead, we can see some high impact news releases starting Tuesday that will affect the Australian dollar pairs, the US dollar pairs, and again on Thursday with CPI data coming out of the US and GDP data from the UK, which will obviously affect the pound come Friday. Now, one other important note is that on Friday, we have Veterans Day in the US, so the markets will be a lot slower. That is a federal holiday on that day. But as we go into the week ahead, I'd advise or recommend not to trade around the times of these news releases. If you're in any of these pairs, rather avoid them about 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after the news releases come out. These are already predestined, so to speak, so we know exactly when they're going to happen. So let's just be aware of them. Right, so if I pull up my charts, I am looking at a MT4 platform here, and one of the systems, you might have your own system that you are trading. Fair enough. I've taken one of our Tradeology ones and I'm just going to use that to show you. And I've got a few pairs open here. And we can start off, I think, with the pound USD. And over the last period, extended period, in fact, you could see a downward trend, obviously, in the pound. I'm sure many of you have been keeping an eye on this. And towards the end of September, we saw the pound hit a low. A new low, and since that time, on the last week or so of September, the market has moved up, although incrementally it's been stepping up, as you can see here, a series of higher highs and higher lows into this wedge type formation, a descending triangle that in fact formed, and now what we've seen is prices bounced off this trend line here and moving a bit up. And I'm just looking at the indicators at the bottom here as it's Sunday when I'm recording this. There's an upward trajectory, and what I'm expecting is that in the next day or two, the pound is going to test this level here at 1.15 thousand, right? Let me just try and get it exactly on the mark here. That would be the level to test. And what I'm expecting to happen is it will retrace from that level back down again to around this level here. I'm neutral on the pound at the moment, although I do suspect that there will be some movement in the early part of the week and for it to then retrace back down. So no big moves expected here. Inflation, of course, is the key word across all the markets at this point. Every country around the world is having to grapple with inflation, and the UK especially has its own challenges, as we are aware, with the winter months approaching and certain energy constraints and so on. So the pound has been under a lot of pressure lately. So again, neutral on the pound, although I do expect, at least for the first couple of days, for there to be an upward momentum. I just would wait for my indicators to confirm this, and I'm looking at around the 1.15 thousand level there for the pound before it retraces back down towards the current level, in fact. All right, so we move on to the Euro USD. We see a similar downward trend. Again, inflation is the catchword there in the Eurozone. And of course, we know there's a lot of geopolitical type issues ongoing at the moment that affect the euro. We do see here, though, that there's been a series of higher highs and higher lows, similar to the pound, and that is in an upward trajectory at the moment as at Friday. And the indicators, in fact, at this stage are almost all in alignment for me. And it looks to be that the euro is going to head up towards this level here, which is around the 0.999 level, around there. I'd expect it to bounce off there come Monday. If it does break through, then I'd be looking to post some take profits around the 1.006 level there before it then retraces back down to the current level. So not a lot of momentum going to be happening there, but we do see a upward trajectory as it gets squeezed out more and more into this wedge here. And should it break through that, it would then head up towards the next level here at 1.019, 1.02 level. Around that level there, should it break through this other level here. Now, this is what I'm expecting up to there and then back down again in the next couple of days. Should it break through here, as I repeat, we could be looking towards heading towards that level there. All right, so let's have a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar. Also, let me just zoom out to the daily. You can see the trend here overall since last year has been on a downward trend, over the last year, in fact. And it hit a low not seen in quite a while, since 2020, very recently, and is now on an upward trajectory, although the indicators are also fairly mixed at this point. We're looking at it heading up towards a higher level over the next few days. Let's just drop down to the 4 hour again, and you'll see it's very close to the current levels that I would have been targeting. We're not far off the 0.65 level there, and then should it break through there, 0.654 at the highest. We're going to see how it pans out in the week. I do expect it to retrace back from this level here, 0.6516 thereabouts, and possibly hitting that Monday and then retracing slightly after that. The indicators overall are looking very bullish at the moment with this system, and there's just about to be a crossover here of the moving averages that I have on screen. That's the 18 moving average and the 16 moving average, and once that cross happens, there'll be confirmation. But I suspect that this will take place quite quickly, and we'll see if the bullish momentum maintains at that point. Now, gold has been pretty much range bound over the course of the last month or so, and you can see here it's been hitting this level here around the $1,680 mark, and ranging between that and $1,613. And just on Friday, when the markets closed, it had just closed above this level here. Again, all of the indicators here are looking very bullish, and there's just been a crossover of the 18 and the 16 here. So we could look to see a short upward momentum for gold, and that could go quite a long way, actually, up to $1,726 or thereabouts as the market opens. Looking very bullish there, despite the overall trend for the last while. I think we could finally see gold, at least for the medium term or short term, break out of its current range bound levels and head higher. Now, I would also be very tight with my stops here
and set one-to-one take profit targets with any system that I'm trading on this just for the moment, as the markets are still taking in the data that came out late last week and anticipating a few things that are going to be happening during the course of this week too, as I've just mentioned, right? So be wary that the markets are a little bit volatile, which is good for traders at this point, but they could swing quite wildly in either direction over the next few days. And I would set those stops on whatever currency pair I'm trading this week, especially Monday and Tuesday, very tight, and one-to-one take profit targets. Avoid any news releases for the first half hour before and after they're released for the high impact especially. And we want to, above all, preserve our capital this week as we head closer to the festive season, and bearing in mind Veterans Day coming up, and later in the month we've got Thanksgiving also on the horizon in the US and Canada too. So there's a few holidays coming up, but mostly it looks like each of these pairs that I've just mentioned, going back to Pound USD, Euro USD, Australian Dollar USD, and Gold USD, all set to just break out for the first day or so of the week. And we'll just keep a tight eye on these, especially on the lower time frames. All right, thank you guys for watching. I wish you a great trading week ahead, and please do subscribe to our channel. You'll find the button below, and I do also have other links below this video which could, of course, give you some free systems. So please do check them out if you haven't done that yet. Have a look below. A lot more explanation is given once you sign up, and I do want to be constantly in contact with you with all the latest updates in the market and anything that can help you with your trading. Thank you, and have a great week ahead, guys. Cheers for now. Thanks again for watching, and please remember to subscribe to our channel below to receive notifications, so whenever a new video is released, you don't miss any. And again, for a free system, also check out our link in that description below.